I cut a thing out of the Reader's Digest, and when I read this, it reminded me of Mom and Dad. And I'm sorry that I'm going to read this. It's called Success by Martin Buxbaum. You can use most any measure when you're speaking of success. You can measure it in fancy home, expensive car, or dress, but the measure of your real success is the one you cannot spend. It's the way your kids describe you when they're talking to a friend.
What is Grandpa's full name?
Cal Van Dyke something.
John Van Dyke. Grandpa Van Dyke. Yeah. Grandpa Van Dyke. Grandpa. His name is Grandpa Van Dyke. Grandpa Van Dyke. Grandpa Van Dyke. Grandpa Van Dyke. Grandpa Van Dyke Steele. Grandpa. I don't know Van Dyke. Van Dyke family?
When I was a junior in high school, our seminary teacher passed out a little white 3x5 card and told us to write down 3 qualities we were looking for in a future spouse. This is what I wrote. I can still see myself sitting in that chair writing. Number 1, I wanted my husband to be a returned missionary. I wanted someone who had committed himself to the Lord and worked hard and made sacrifices. 2, tall, dark, and handsome. I know, pretty worldly, but it's what I wanted. And number 3, I wanted someone who played basketball. I love sports, and especially basketball, and I wanted someone who would be active and play with our children and knew how to have fun. Well, the next week I met Cal. I knew that he was perfect and perfect for me, and he still is. Well, actually, I found out about 5 years into our marriage that he's not perfect. I cried. But he hugged me and he was relieved to find out that I finally realized that he was a regular human being. He has always had great insight into people and situations. He is always learning and is interested in everything going on in our planet. He still plays basketball, and he is a forever friend to so many people. It has been my greatest blessing to know that God and then me are his first priorities. Calvin, I love you forever and always, and even though your hair hasn't been dark for a long time, you are still one dang fine man.
Well, big brother, you're turning 70. Can't believe it's happening. Holy cow. That means I'm getting old just as bad as you are. Want to thank you for all the times that we've had together, milking together, working on the farm when I was little, teaching me how to work, or forcing me to learn how to work, I guess is a better way to put it. You did a good job of that. Sometimes it was by example, sometimes it was by force, but that's okay. It worked out in the end. Didn't hurt me at all. The many times we had the pancake breakfasts.
One of the cooks along with Ben and Dad. For the prize.
Your fertilizer business, your liquid fertilizer, and the amount of time that you've spent believing in yourself and making that happen has always been a great example to me on doing what you believe in, doing it to the end and working as hard as you can, and as long as you do, it'll work out in the end. You've always been a great example to me, watching you work and watching you with your family, putting your family first. Always doing those things that would be most beneficial for them. Great for the example you've been in the gospel. I've always looked up to you for that. You've always had a strong testimony and you weren't afraid to share it with others. I appreciate that.
Can't believe it's been that long since we were shooting hoops together in high school. You were our point guard and a guy that had a motor that never quit, was a great shooter. Remember, we took 5th in the state our junior year and 3rd in the state our senior year. Cal, you were always fun to play the game with, a person of high moral character and just a great guy to be around.
I've heard of tree huggers, but this is ridiculous. You can't even get your arms around that rock. What are you talking about? Push, push!
Let's go slide! Let's go jump! It's too late now, you can't change.
Mike and Mom and I. Ooh, I got them both. Best sides right there.
You know, I remember very few.
That means Diane's 40 today, so Cal must be what, 50?
I'm glad to see that you've made it 70 years and as good a shape as you're in. I imagine you're probably going to hit another 30 or 40 good years.
I want to say, Cal, that you were my first missionary companion, really, and my last missionary companion. And we've served together ever since in heart with our love of the Québécois.
Est-ce que vous êtes marié maintenant?
Oui. J'ai 7 enfants.
Ah oui?
We found when I moved to Sherbrooke. That was our church and our apartment, so we helped serve.
Vous êtes à la boulangerie de Metz. Bienvenue.
Avec le pain chaud, n'est-ce pas?
Bienvenue avec le pain chaud.
Meet in Lennoxville. We have 4 pictures.
I'm hopeful that your health is good, that you have another 70 years. You'll really be old then. And that your life will be full of the great joy of family. Because as we get older, our physical joys get taken away one by one. I can tell you for sure. Well, wish you well, brother, and well to your family. Thanks for letting me participate.
That I first met Elder Don Calvin Van Dyke. Here's what I recorded in my missionary journal about that first meeting. Quote, "Also in my room is Don Calvin Van Dyke from Lewiston, Utah. He went to Skyview High School. He played football, basketball, and track. He has a very good sense of humor. He laughs at almost anything." A couple of days later, on June 18th, they redivided our districts and put missionaries in classes in districts where there were similar abilities and knowledge of French. I was moved to the Le Havre district for missionaries with no language experience. I was happy to be in the same district with Elder Van Dyke. However, as part of the shift, I was moved to a different sleeping room, and in my journal I noted that night that, quote, none of my new roommates were half as funny as Elder Van Dyke. A few days later I recorded in my journal the following, quote, I fasted today with Elder Van Dyke. We both agreed that we needed some extra help learning the language. A few days later we were having a challenging day in our afternoon French class. I noted in my journal that night that we missed Elder Van Dyke's spirit in the class as he had gone to Salt Lake to see a specialist about an allergy. Elder Van Dyke always had an understanding, a welcoming, and a kind attitude towards others. He once told me that he learned that attitude from his farm in Lewiston, from his family's support of taking in dozens of foster kids from the reservation and from broken homes. Because he was from a farm, Elder Van Dyke knew that in raw milk, the cream always rises to the top. And that's how I could best describe Cal as a missionary and as a person. He was pure cream, and he always rose to the top. Cal was given some tough assignments. One of his first companions in Quebec was a missionary who did not like to obey mission rules. As the junior companion, Elder Van Dyke had to be the leader in that companionship. When he was made an assistant to the president, Cal was always the missionary that the mission president sent out to visit problem or troubled missionaries. That's because he was widely respected, especially for his ability to have empathy and love for anyone in any circumstance. Cal, your family should know that you were an exceptional missionary. You touched so many lives, you worked so hard, and you were a humble and faithful servant of our Heavenly Father. Serving in the same mission with Elder Van Dyke was one of the great blessings of my life. Even more, I'm grateful that we've remained lifelong friends. I hope that when we both move to our next estate, that the good Lord will let me locate my little farm next to Cal's ranch estate. Cal, I thank you for your example and your friendship. I thank you for your kindness and your encouragement. I love you and always will. God bless you, God bless Diane, and God bless your wonderful family.
Cal Van Dyke, 70 years old. Well, I think you were 69 when I first met you. At least that's how I viewed you anyway at the time. Cal, congratulations. I'm trying to remember about the first time that I met you, and I really can't. The only thing that comes to my mind about the first time I met you is the word fetch. Never heard it used in all your vernaculars, but I guess a French-Canadian missionary can use fetch in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, yeah.
We're not talking about Cal now. It's been a fairy tale life here for Diane. In fact, the fairy tale is Beauty and the Beast.
I will agree with that.
I gotta read this card now that came from him. You're not getting old. Hell, you were old last year.
I'm sorry.
Janet got that one. But...
And you think anybody here believes that?
Congratulations on making it to 70. Love you, bud.
This is Jared Whitehead here. Enjoyed our time together at CEU where we played basketball and we did activities through Signagam and also at the Institute. You were always a good example for me. Was a good student along with a good ball player. You played hard. You never used foul language or anything of that sort, as many of them did. Or done anything that was against gospel teachings or standards.
What is Grandpa's favorite food?
Chinese. Tacos. Pepperoni pizza. Yeah. Orange chicken. Chocolate. I'm just guessing nachos. Spaghetti. Lasagna? Lasagna. I don't know. Chips.
It's easy for me to remember my first recollection with you. The day after I came home off my mission was the day that you and Diane got married. It was great going to your reception, and I felt like I was one of your bridesmaids, or at least Diane's. I stood at the end of the line saying hi to everyone. It was a reunion for me, getting to know everybody again after being gone for 2 years. Teresa wasn't very happy, but actually she was a little bit mad, but not that mad, because 6 months after your reception, Teresa and I were married. It's been a great honor to know you, Cal. You have blessed my life. I wish we had more time to get together. It just seems like life gets so crazy, and the bigger our posterities get, the harder it is to get together with others. But you're a great man. I love you, and I hope that you have a continued wonderful life. You have a wonderful, wonderful family, and I love you.
They were telling us how proud they were that person, that Calvin was going to fill that first for you, too.
They didn't say, I like that. Yeah, we're thinking the same.
I was thinking back the first time I met you at CEU in accounting class. Wow. And then you grabbed all of the basketball team guys, of course Phil, but like Chris Randall and Brent Owens, and you guys started coming and hanging out at Mom's house, Mom and Dad's house, playing games. We had a great time, and then you stole my little sister. Wow, it was actually kind of a shock, but it worked out for the best, and it was great.
Cal Van Dyke, what could be told about this man? If there was a 21st century mountain man, yeah, he could probably come into that category. But just like we had the mountain man of the early 19th century, he likes to explore, and he likes to get involved in new things, and he likes the dirt. He likes farming and being out in the dirt. He's an amazing friend. I've known him now for nearly 30 years, and I still like him. He's still got gray to white hair like he did when he was in his early 40s. Nothing's changed. He's still the same old Cal.
Cal, I just wanted to take a moment and express my appreciation for you. The friendship over the years, I've enjoyed being around you. You're just a wonderful person. I specifically enjoy our summer get-togethers with our families, and I'm so impressed with your Dutch oven cooking. It's always been good, whether it's your potatoes or your desserts, or it's just been wonderful. I admire your abilities in playing basketball over the years. You've always been a wonderful player. You could always beat me at basketball. I've also admired your service in the church, in Scouts, and at Bishoprics. You're a wonderful friend, and I appreciate you.
When I think back on all our wonderful years of friendship, beginning back in the early 80s, it's been so wonderful. We've enjoyed you from the very beginning and value you and Diane as friends. We especially remember wonderful experiences in your beautiful yard that's so fun with all the courts and tree houses, and that you were the very best Dutch oven potato maker there ever was. We appreciate all that and enjoyed those exciting times. We loved watching your fertilizer project progress. We loved political discussions with you for your frankness, and it's always fun, still is. We admire your service to your family, to the church, and just what a good person you are. We congratulate you and hope you have many more years yet for all of us to appreciate and enjoy your company.
You are so old, Cal. and you are always, always have been, and always will be a character and a tease. I am going to share a couple of memories I have of you, and they are from soccer games, of course. I don't know how many hours and days and years we've spent together at soccer games. The first one I remember it was hilarious. The referees were terrible, and you got really upset at the referee, and you started chewing him out in French, and it was hilarious. We were all shocked, and the referee was shocked that you could chew him out in French. The second incident, Cal, is you were so proud that you got me on video at the state final game the girls had in high school. I don't remember what year it was. You got me on video poking and prodding and arguing with the police, or the pretend police, out on the field, and you were so proud of yourself. So proud of yourself, and you never ever let me forget that you got it on video. I've got it on video, I've got it on video, I can prove that. Joyce was poking and prodding and messing with the police. You'll never let me forget that. You're always a character, always a tease. Happy birthday!
I got to know Cal several years ago as the Elders Quorum president. I kept wondering who the guy was in the back that was arguing with everybody. But we got to know each other, played some basketball together, and had a lot of fun. We started a business together several years ago when we were down in Fillmore looking for some material to add to a composting process, when someone pointed out a pond that was full of stinky water. And Cal dipped up some of the fluid and had it tested, and that was the beginning of our FOVIC business together. We extracted a lot down there over the years and had a lot of fun hauling empty totes down and filling them up and shipping them out, and it was a learning process, a lot of trial and error. But Cal kept at it and kept thinking of things and added his brother to it. We moved it all back to Tennessee, where it is to this day. But I appreciate Cal. He's a good hard worker. He's an honest guy. He has a distinct personality, which I love, and we get along great. And I think the world of him and his family.
I've known you for over 41 years, and I have so many memories to choose from, but I think the one that's most dear to my heart is when we adopted Titan and Easton. We had a catered dinner. I forget exactly the details to it, but we asked if we could hold a celebration in your backyard, and you and Diane allowed us to do that and set up the tables, and we had some catered food, plus we also had potluck, and it worked out great. We had lots of friends and family join us, and it was a great day. I remember that you set up your blow up on the basketball court so the kids could play, and it was just a great time for us, and we really appreciated everything that you and Diane did for us that day, and that was a very important day in our lives, and we think of that quite often when we look at the boys and think of how their lives have changed. And I just want to say, may your birthday and your life be as wonderful as you are, and I wish you a happy birthday and hope that you have many more.
Recall some of the camps that we went on, some of the hikes we went on together. You were, I believe, Jeff's scoutmaster at the time.
Good morning to you. We're all in our places with bright smiley faces. Good morning to you. Lazy bones, sleeping in the sun. How do you expect to get a day's work done?
And the things you taught him. I know that you were his coach soccer coach. But I appreciate that area of your life where you've ministered to our family. Speaking of ministering, you were an awesome home teacher for many, many years. And I have many great memories of you and Diane come over and ministering to us.
One of the greatest men that I look up to. You taught my children well how to play soccer, and they continued to enjoy and love that game because of your abilities and your teaching abilities and your soccer abilities, your athletic abilities. Jeff said, I've always looked up to Cal and thought he was a great leader.
I got to know Cal and Diane a lot better when I was in college at BYU. And the thing that, well, even at that time, I really enjoyed being in their home. And it's kind of hard to talk about Cal without Diane, but I'll try. Cal was kind of like my dad.
We used to have milk cows, and we'd take turns getting up and helping Dad milk. When this was happening, I think Bill and I were trading off every other morning or something.
How'd that work out? Me and Roy never traded off. I got up every morning.
We got smarter.
And because of my dad's health issues, he wasn't able to always be there for me, even when he was alive. And I kind of felt like Cal filled that spot a lot and continued to do so even after he passed away. He's just there. He shows up to family things, and he calls me sometimes and tells me he's thinking about me, and he listens to me. And I feel like he's the closest thing to a dad that I have. And that means a lot to me. And whenever I talk to him about this, he just has nothing but good things to say about my dad, and that he feels like it's a pleasure to have been his friend. And so I feel like Cal has kind of been a little gift from heaven to be there for me when my dad can't, and that means a lot to me.
What is Grandpa's favorite thing to do for fun?
Watch TV. Play video games. Play video games! Yeah! Play with other guys. Play with the cat. I'm just guessing football. Basketball. Spend time with family. Work outside. Oh, watch baseball games.
Dad was always trying to teach us. Whatever the experience was, he was either teaching us how to have fun, how to work hard, how to play hard, or how to live the gospel the right way. Whether we were fixing the cars, working in the yard, cutting down all the trees and...
Oh!
building the basketball court or the log retaining wall, the railroad retaining wall. He was always trying to teach us something. We had fun while we were doing it, even if we complained. Ask Uncle Mike about the complaining. And just so you know, the bend in the nails so we didn't have to keep working on the railroad tie wall on Saturdays, that was Mike's idea. Just clearing the air on that one. And if anybody wants to hear the birds and the bees story, ask Uncle Mike. He might pass out thinking about it. Yeah, that happened. Dad never did anything for the wrong reason. He was always trying to do the right thing for the right reason. It may not always work out, but he was always trying to do what's right. I know I didn't make it easy. I didn't realize it at the time, but I'm grateful now. Looking back, I'm grateful for all the things that he taught me, and I know he taught every one of you guys something too. But Dad, we sure love you. And if anybody wants to hear any of the inappropriate stories, go ask Aunt Amy. She knows them all.
So there's a couple of teaching moments and stories that really stand out to me with Dad. One of them, Dad gave a talk about keeping the Sabbath day holy, and he was telling about a farmer in their community when he was growing up who talked about taking the irrigation water on Sunday, and he always felt bad and didn't know how to reconcile that with keeping the Sabbath day holy. And it was on a Sunday, and he was out taking his turn with the irrigation water, and he was leaning on his shovel, and there was a weed there in the ground, and he went to take the shovel to get the weed, and he stopped, and the Spirit told him, that's not keeping the Sabbath day, because that's not part of what you have to do as a farmer in taking your irrigation turn. And it's just something that always stuck out to me, is how the Spirit can really help teach us what is true and right for us individually. One of my other favorite things is Dad's used this several times. He takes those big pincers that they use to put the ring in the bull's nose, and he talks about how when you are angry or have emotions that other people cause you to have, it's like you're the bull and they're just leading you around by that ring in your nose. And so the lesson is to never give up your power and let other people lead you around. Just keep in control of yourself and your emotions. One of my most favorite memories also with Dad is that when I was playing football down at Snow College before my mission, we had a bowl game on Thanksgiving Day in Chicago. And Dad, all by himself, flew out just to come and watch me play in that bowl game. And it really meant a lot to me. I knew that Dad cared about us because he would take the time to miss being with all the other family and people that were coming over for Thanksgiving and everything just to come and see me play. And Dad always makes it a priority to go and support us as we were growing up in all the different things that we were involved in. And
You're getting out of the road. I'm going. Where? Right there. Up, yeah. Teamwork. I'm spending the night here. All right, his turn. All right, he's filming you, Mike. Going. Go ahead.
It's been fun to sit and think about different things that I'd say about my dad and the things that he has taught me. But I keep going back to my early childhood, so I think that's where I'm going to go. And I'll be quick. I know sometimes I can be long-winded. But the first thing I wanted to share with you was how my dad taught me the importance of daily scripture study. When we were all young, my dad would go and play basketball in the mornings. In fact, he still does. He's awesome. But when he would come home, we'd sit around the breakfast table and he would grab his scriptures and read to us from the scriptures every day while we were eating breakfast. And that helped me to understand how important it was to get in the scriptures every single day. And that's really affected my life in scripture study and how important it is. Another thing that my dad taught me was the importance of prayer, and specifically when to pray. When I was a teenager, I'd come home and I was kind of having a crappy day, and my dad asked me to say our family prayers, and I really didn't want to, and I told him that I didn't want to. And I don't know if he even understood that it was a teaching moment, but what he said after that really impacted my life. He said, but that's when you need to pray the most. And it's true. We need to pray the most when we're not feeling like we want to pray, we should pray, or we're angry or having harsh feelings. And I did. I prayed that night, and it really helped me. I don't know where I would be without a testimony of the power of prayer and how important it is. So thanks, Dad. I really appreciate that. Another thing my dad taught me was love. And he showed love in a lot of different ways. One of them came around another time that we were praying as a family. I don't remember being mad or upset at my parents very often, but these two situations, I was. So I don't know what happened, but I wasn't very happy with my dad, so I didn't want to give him a hug, and that was our tradition. After we said prayers, we stood up and gave everybody a hug in the circle, morning and night. And that night, I didn't want to give him a hug, and so I hugged everybody, and I went to my room really fast, and he came in after me and said, "It doesn't matter if you're mad at me, you still need to hug me." And I was upset, but I still gave him a hug, and in that moment, I felt so much love. And I realized then that it didn't matter if I was mad at my dad or if he was mad at me. He would always love me no matter what. And I really appreciated that. So hopefully I've spread some of that to my own kids, but Dad, I love you. I'm so grateful that you're my dad, and I wouldn't have chosen another dad. Happy birthday. Hopefully there's many more to come.
As I thought about Dad and teaching moments, there's a couple things that came to my mind.
What do you have to say to Robert and Tammy?
Kiss a lot, make up a lot, fight a lot, get it over with quick.
Okay. What do you think about that?
I don't like the fighting parts, but the rest, yeah, I kind of like that.
Okay.
The first and the most iconic teaching moment or story from Dad, I think, is the story about the bull with a ring in its nose. And he'd tell us that story anytime that we were upset or due to someone else like making fun of us or some other person, their actions really affecting our emotions. So the story about a kid, a 5-year-old kid can go up to a bull and make the bull do whatever it wants if he can get his finger in the ring in the bull's nose. And that when we let other people affect our emotions like that, that's what we're letting them do to us. And I use that with my own kids sometimes. We'll see if they think it's as impactful. I remember being in 5th or 6th grade, and I was having a hard day. I don't know what was going on in my life, but I was having some self-esteem issues, and I just woke up and I think I was just crying all morning, and Mom couldn't figure out what was wrong. And so Dad just took me with him to work all that day. He drove up to Salt Lake, and I think we went to Trolley Square and sat in the massage chairs and did a bunch of things, and went to, somebody had a basketball game up in Salt Lake, and he just spent the day with me and made me feel like I was important and that I mattered. When I was in Salt Lake at law school, I remember he would come once a month and take me out to his favorite place, Chuck-A-Rama, and we would just sit and talk about life and things that were happening to me and important to me, and it really made me know that he cared and loved me. But obviously the biggest impact he had on my life was when he was my soccer coach as a child, and he wanted me to kick with both feet. So he told me that he was getting a little frustrated with me not kicking with my left foot. So eventually he told me that he was going to spank me if I used my left foot, and because of that I became left-footed.
Come on.
Happy birthday, Dad. It's been fun just getting ready to have this video playing, to go back through all of our old family videos. And you have been the cameraman in most of those throughout our whole lives. So it's been fun to kind of see what's happening around you through your perspective and what was important to you. And I feel like we kind of learned from you just to live life, just to, do all the things with your family, with your friends.
This first wave is called the California Curl.
Climb the mountain.
Uncle Cal, on his 35th anniversary, is rappelling instead of being with his wife as a good man taking care of the scouts. It just never even says a peep. How lucky we are to have Uncle Cal. Kids love him.
And dive off the cliff.
This Cal looking over at his deathbed.
I'm chicken. All right.
Sit on water there for a while.
Jacob, you want to come down? What are we doing?
Here's Calvin.
The insurance policy is in the filing cabinet, third floor down, next to the desk. No more? Have you done it yet?
Slapped it good. Oh, look at that.
That was pure enema.
Drive the four-wheelers and learn the new skills.
Cal's been a trick skier for quite a few years. He does things on two skis that most people have never even thought about, and if they thought about it, they certainly shouldn't try doing it. Look at that. He's doing the Enema Run right now. He is doing the Enema Run right now. Cal Van Dyke. Cal grew up in Lewiston, went to Skyview High School, was an all-stater up there in many sports, went down to college, Eastern Utah, married Diane MacArthur. They have a lovely family, 7 children. 2 of them are on missions right now. This tape will show those young whippersnappers that their dad still has it. Yes, folks, this is Cal Van Dyke.
Play the sports, and the life is kind of meant to be fun, and that could be your focus, and just all the opportunities that you have in life. So I'm really grateful for that example, just to spend your life and make your life full of doing the things you love with the people that you love, for the reasons that you love. So happy birthday, and I'm so glad that I have been part of your life, and I'm grateful for the example that you are to me, and for all the things that I have been able to take from your example and incorporate into my own family. So love you.
One year I went through a pretty bad breakup with a girl, and I was taking it pretty hard, and I wanted to go hiking to this landing just by myself. And my dad found out that I was planning on going by myself, and he ended up just dropping everything to go down with me and to spend time with me, make sure I wasn't alone. And then while we were down there in St. George, it just happened to be the same time as the Pac-12 basketball tournament. And so my dad decided that he was gonna take me to go watch that. It was a pretty cool experience. Just being able to spend one-on-one time with my dad going to this basketball tournament, also hiking Angel's Landing with my dad. We decided to repeat that experience the next year. We didn't hike, but we decided to go back down and to go to the basketball tournament again. And this time, as we were on the freeway just past Fillmore, or in between Scipio and Fillmore, there was a car that had just barely flipped and rolled. And there was 2 grandparents and there was 3 kids in there. They were on their way to a baptism. And the 3 kids had crawled out of the car and they were pretty beat up and in shock. The 2 grandparents were unconscious, still in the car. And so Dad pulled over, and without hesitation, he went in and he climbed in the car. He wasn't concerned about gas that might be leaking or other fluids or anything like that, or any type of concern for himself. He just climbed in there and started giving blessings, and was there, with the grandparents until the highway patrol got there with the paramedics and with the Jaws of Life to cut the car up in pieces so they could get the 2 people out. From that experience, it really taught me that you really always need to be prepared to help people, and that my dad's always been service-oriented and service-minded. He's always been willing to help people at the drop of a hat, and that's something that's always stuck with me from that.
So one of the first teaching moments that I can remember from Dad was from the first zip line with the rope and the Batman bike. We were having a party of some sort, and it was dark, and I was up there and I was too scared to go. And so Dad came up and he kept telling me I wasn't sitting on the edge, and he kept pushing me more and more off the edge until eventually he pushed me all the way off. But I really enjoyed it. So, and that, it just reminds me that several times Dad has said, we have fear, and one of the reasons we have fear is to learn to overcome it.
All right, Jacob, give me your 2.5 gainer right here. 2.5 gainer right here to me.
That's how you spell it.
Another quick one that I remember is we went to the girls' camp, and as a ward, we had a ward camp out. We were clearing trees, and Dad cut halfway through the base of a tree and thought that it might go the wrong way. So he had me climb up the tree and tie a rope up on it. And some people in the ward were freaking out. And I came back down, and a few of them asked me why I was willing to go up the tree. And I just said, well, my dad said it wouldn't fall. So I trusted him, and so I just went and got it done.
Cal is a farmer at heart, and he incorporates it in everything he does. Work smart when you can, and work hard when it has to be done. Enjoy the process and the small successes. The key to growth is putting the good stuff on it. This is true for plants, family, and personal spiritual growth. Finally, the most important crop is family. CBD is a close second.
One of the first times we actually met, I was dating Rob, and he was out of town for a thing for law school, and it happened to be over Valentine's weekend, and so we wanted to try to get together, but I didn't have a car, and I was up in Salt Lake, and he was coming to Orem, and I was going to take the bus down so that I could meet Rob when he got home to his parents' house, and Cal said he would come and pick me up, and so he drove all the way up to Salt Lake and picked me up and drove me all the way back home, and we had a delightful conversation, and was very comfortable, and it just taught me how easy it is to be of service to people and to see each other's needs and take care of each other, and just to be friendly.
I remember when I was dating your daughter, we went to cut wood down at, where was it? I don't remember where it was. And we were with your mechanic, Lloyd. He came with us. And you got the chainsaw and you just started going. And I was like, oh, we'll do this for a few hours. And like 8 hours later, you were still just hucking that saw around, and we were just gathering wood as fast as we could. And you put up with me, and I was probably not doing much work because I was too busy talking to Becky and flirting with Becky. And I remember Dawn kept threatening to go Scarface on my face if I didn't pick up more, logs. And anyways, it was fun. I could tell you were a hard worker and you had taught your kids to work. And I had a lot of respect for that. And I try to do that with my kids. And I appreciate your example.
One of the qualities I admire most about you is how you give so much time to other people. And your time, your effort, your house, your just everything to everyone. And when I first married Dawn, that was a surprising thing to me. I don't think I've ever known anyone as generous and so willing to help other people and let them stay in your home or let them use your things, or most of all, just your time and your energy and your attention to other people. And that's been a very big example to me. And I have really learned a lot from you because of that. So thank you for that, and happy birthday.
Okay, Dad, I have a list for you of things that I love and admire about you. And this is take 2 because I was crying on the first one. So I love the time and attention that you give to each individual. I love that you spend time connecting with them and in their own way. I've seen that over the years. I've seen that you have found a time and a place to put your arm around each person and child and really find out how they're doing and offer love and support. And that's been really tender to watch. I love how you have such a fun, jovial nature about you. And I love the way that you ask on the phone, how the heck are you doing? And I've learned to say, dang fine, because when I ask you how you're doing, you say, dang fine.
Dang fine.
But if I say, dang fine, then you say, well, you deserve it. And I just love that. I just think it's so fun. It just shows your personality. I also love the love that you and time that you have given to all those who have stayed in your home and those that haven't been in your home, but people that you have mentored, boys and mothers and fathers and sons and daughters. You mentor so many people, and it's just so incredible to watch. I love that you share your testimony, and you take time to do that every time that we get together as a family. So that's really a treasure that we'll hold on to.
What is Grandpa's favorite animal?
Snake. Horse. Cheetah. Oh.
There's old Sheba dog.
Hey, kiss. Oh.
What is Grandpa's favorite movie?
Avengers. Buoy.
I don't really know olden day movies, but Transformania.
Star Wars. I don't know. I think it's rated R or something. I have no idea. I think Star Wars.
When I asked you about the snowblower that I learned about at one point later in life, then realizing that we had shoveled all the walkways where I didn't have as many volunteers as maybe I would have wanted. And you said that you thought you weren't shoveling snow, you were building men. You led the way that the Savior did. You were somebody that epitomized the whole concept and idea that it's not about trying to do the work of 20 people. It's about trying to help 20 people learn how to go to work. And I just really appreciate the way that you exemplify that and the influence you've had in mine and so many other people's lives. And all those listening, I just want you to know how much I benefited from the great man that Cal Van Dyke is. I sure love you. And thank you, you and Diane, both for the influence that you've had in Kristen and I's life as we've gone through the many challenges and the different things that we've faced while we were able to be around you. So love you. Happy birthday. And I hope it's a great one.
We went out, we took the young men of the ward out to the Goblin Valley area, and we hiked a canyon called Ding and Dang that required a lot of teamwork to make it from start to end. A lot of technical climbs down the canyon, and told me that he wanted each of the young men to to absolutely each one to make it through the canyon. He said to me, due to an injury he had, he didn't know how far he would be able to go. He didn't know how much, I believe it was his shoulder, how much he could take in terms of spider crawling down the canyon walls or whatever it may have been. He wasn't sure, and he thought he might have to turn around. So we dove into the canyon, we pushed those young men. We were very proud that each of them did an amazing job. And knowing what I knew after Bishop Van Dyke had pulled me aside, I was equally impressed, even more impressed, that he did every portion of that canyon with us. He helped us, he pushed the young men, he inspired them, he let them know what they could do to push past their own weaknesses, and it was always amazing and impressive to me. It's something that has always stuck with me.
A lot of what I remember is just how much you loved everyone and how you prayed for everyone and you wanted the best for everyone, especially the youth and the young men and the young women. I remember going to Nesty's football game and the great hat that you wore. I'll make sure and share a picture of that. I also remember one funny time, I don't know if I should share it, but we were in ward council and it got brought up about I was going to make homemade vanilla and buying alcohol for the vanilla, and we were kind of embarrassed to say that we'd bought it, and you just said, well, you should be using bourbon instead, and it was just kind of a funny time, and I still remember that.
What does Grandpa do for work?
Harvest and make things. Boxing. To work for fun. He gets money. Well, sometimes I see him work on the computer a lot. Do computers? I think he designs things or something. He works outside. He works outside. I can't say that.
In 9th grade, when I was running track, I ran the 800, which Grandpa knew about, which he ran. And when I was talking to him about one day, he was like, well, do you want to win districts? And I was like, yeah, let's win districts. So he then asked me and told me to find out what time I need to run to win districts. And that time was 2 minutes. So I got back to Grandpa, and he immediately, like I said, 2 minutes, and he did the splits and all the math and everything in his head, just like that. It was crazy. Which for me now doing it, I have to like still sit there and it takes like 5 times as long. It's just crazy that he could do that so fast. But so I had to run 2 minutes, which is a 30-second split, 200 split, which is really, really fast for 2 laps around the track. And I had been running a 2:28 800, and 2:30 was qualifying for district, so I qualified. And then Grandpa, so I was there and we figured it out, and he even taught me how to run it, where you have to run fast at the beginning to get to your pace and get ahead of the pack, so you can get pushed around and you can get to your stride and the stride that you want. So the race day came and I ran it. I did what Grandpa said. I got ahead of the pack and I was running and I led the whole group, the whole race, the first lap. Then some Mapleton kid took off and he sprinted the second lap, which is just crazy. And then you had a Springville kid pass me, and then one of my teammates ended up passing me. And so I hung out, and I was about 30 yards behind him. I started to slow down, and I was like, no, I gotta get this. So, but there was a huge gap between me in 4th place and the 5th place guy. So I ended up hauling and ended up beating my teammate. So I ended up getting 3rd place, and he got 4th. But anyways, when I finished it, I had ran so hard and everything, because I just run my heart and my gut and everything out. I kind of like collapsed and was just exhausted. And when I was sitting there exhausted, I just remember Grandpa sharing with me that picture in his scrapbook. We all have seen it, and Grandma's shown it to me several times, along as Grandpa, of him in high school running cross country, where he collapsed after his race because he ran his heart out in his lungs and his gut and everything. He was just so exhausted. So that just reminded me of that.
One of my favorite memories of Grandpa would probably be
his amazing songs. And even if sometimes they tend to get a bit off key, they always tend to bring a smile to my face.
Whenever I'm doing something like crazy or something, he says like, "Spencer, you're an animal." My favorite memory about Grandpa is that whenever I come in, he's like, he always says, "Is that you?"
Is that you?
He says it really fun, and I think it's fun.
When I think about Grandpa, I like going down the zip line.
He loves to watch basketball and football games. So when we were up there at Grandpa's house, like I would come downstairs, or it would maybe be upstairs and watch football and basketball with him. And I ended up going to a basketball game with him.
I love how Grandpa Van Dyke likes to give hugs, and it makes me smile and feel happy, and I love his laugh. It's nice and sweet. I love how he always hugs people, and I love how he loves to play with people, and I love his smile, and it makes me happy.
Is that you?
Is that you?
Grandpa, I remember every single time I would come over to your house, you always greet me like that, and it was so silly and so funny and so cute. And that has just always stuck with me. So I love you so much. Thank you for coming and supporting me in all that I do and all my volleyball games and drama performances, yelling from the stands, "You're an animal!" So.
I remember when you would take us to the fair with Tyler, and we would walk around and look at farming stuff, but I didn't care about any of that, and I just waited for the unlimited ice cream. It was so much fun.
What I remember most about Grandpa is that whenever I went over to his house, he would always say, "Is that you?"
Is that you?
And he'd come over and give me a hug and just like make me feel loved and welcome. And he does that to everybody. He just makes everyone feel like he cares about everyone and just loves everyone.
One lesson that I've learned from Grandpa is the importance of supporting and loving family members. One of the best examples I can think of him doing this in my life is when I played basketball. Whenever he'd be able to make it to one of my games, I could always count on Grandpa to cheer me on from the sidelines and to yell, "You're an animal, Brennan!" whenever he thought I had done a good job in the game.
You're an animal, Brennan!
And him doing this, it made me feel loved and supported and important to him, and also like he was proud to cheer for me. Through his example in doing this, I was able to see that supporting family members and doing things that are important to them show how much we love and care for them, and it also helps us build better relationships with them. So thank you, Grandpa, happy birthday, and I love you.
My favorite memory of Grandpa would either have to be when I'm on the basketball court and I'm just in the zone, and all I can hear is Grandpa from the stands screaming, "Brinsley, you're an animal!" And it always makes me smile so much. Or one time when we were on the farm, I think we were filling up the totes because we're all sitting there by Grandpa's farm, by Grandpa's truck, and Grandpa and I just kept singing "Bottle of Wine" over and over again. It's just so much fun, and I love the way he sings it.
Tree where the grass don't grow. We made a promise to never get old. You had a chance.
birthday, Bishop Van Dyke.
Love you, Grandpa. Happy birthday.
Love you, Cal.
Hope you have a happy 70th.
I hope you have a great birthday.
Happy birthday.
Love you.
Happy 70th birthday.
Happy birthday, Cal.
I love you, Dad. Happy birthday.
Love you. Happy birthday.
I love you a lot, Grandpa.
Love you, Dad. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy 70th, Cal Van Dyke.
Happy birthday to you.
So happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Cal.
Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
Love you, Grandpa.
Happy birthday, Grandpa! So happy you're turning 70. I can't wait to play with you in the yard.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, and I love you.
Happy birthday, my love.
I just from Jesus and love and cousin Jesus.
I wish I could